Speaker, I know it's late. This is an important project, so let me try to conclude as succinctly as I possibly can in the shortest period of time. First of all, I want to thank the Minister of Youth and Sports for the effort and his team in putting this together. Because, Mr. Speaker, I had stood earlier in talking about what we came here today to do. We came here today to approve the guarantee for the loan, which is just a bridge loan to allow us to advance the monies on monies that have been committed down the road, which are grant monies. And the fact is that the process that is being utilized here is that the implementation and the governance of this project is being done by the Ministry of Sports, Mr. Speaker. The permanent secretary in that ministry, along with the staff, are the ones that are executing the program. And as the minister indicated, the member from Dennery South indicated, that all of the associations are involved. This is not a matter in which somebody is making selections. The selection that was made was to bring Parker to the table, and in particular Mr. Lockerbie, who had done this exercise in other countries. So this is not to say that he came here to experiment in St. Lucia. Barbados did the same thing. Singapore has done the same thing. Many other countries around the world have recognized to do the same thing, which is to put a plan together. What I'm shocked at is here we are in 2018 putting a plan together and having a coordinated approach towards sports in this country. One that is not just about playing, but one about a development goal for the people and to be able to broaden the scope of our country. We have some great athletes. And I agree, Mr. Speaker, it is not just about the facilities. I've always said, you can have the most beautiful facilities, but if you don't have a proper training program, you will have bad sports in those good facilities. So it's better, in my opinion, to have good sports in bad facilities. But here we have an opportunity because of the generosity of the Taiwanese government. And as the minister has pointed out, cabinet colleagues agreed to buy into this program, to make funds available. And all we are doing is starting with 5. And the minister went through great depth to talk about why we've chosen those 5. Because each one is a different size. And it's to look at the success of each of those and then to roll those out in the remaining constituencies. And it's not about abandoning the 150 playing fields, because what has happened in other countries, Mr. Speaker, is there's been a consolidation of assets. They in fact have sold some of those playing fields in order to pay for the new facilities. But we've not done that. But what we're saying is if we are going to now have a proper club system, there has to be a core of centers around the island to facilitate that and to improve the quality of sports through competition and through better coaching. And that better coaching is also coming by the academy. So this is a holistic approach that we're attempting to do. I think that one of the most grieving statements that were made on the other side is the fact to say that the private sector is not going to be part of this process. And they have had a very poor track record. What is that to say about a company like MNC's that sponsored athletics and fine arts? For how long? How many years? My same father-in-law, Duboulez, in tennis. Now what are we going to do is by bringing $7 million into a pool to sponsor programming throughout the country and having now a proper schedule of events. So we know when basketball is being played, we know when football is being played, we know when we're doing swimming, we know that we're doing athletics, we know when we're doing netball, we know when we're doing all these other sports on a coordinated basis. Is think for a moment that we're presenting to the private sector an opportunity where they can put in half the money. So of the $7 million, if they put in $3.5, it means for the $3.5 million, they're going to get $10 million worth of exposure. But it takes government to provide that level of leadership and the level of investment and to create the opportunity to change the mindset of the private sector people. And clearly the private sector will recognize the benefit of sports and properly organized programs in the community and the impact it's going to have on St. Lucia. So for members of the other side to just dismiss it as not even being possible tells me everything I needed to know. But Mr. Speaker, I have to say to you, the member is not here from Castries South. But I am shocked at his attempt to bring in a document that could not be authenticated and clearly was not a genuine document. And to be able to want to use that in order to influence the debate. I thought the opposition would have embraced this project because, as the member from Dennery South has pointed out, many of these projects are in their own constituencies. This again is not being selected on a party basis. This is about improving the national sports in total. But no, they have to somehow slight-handedly say yes, but. But I just do not want us to leave here again with even the smallest impression that this is a project in which we are putting monies in and making the decisions by ourselves. A very methodical process to determine how we're proceeding. Parker Company, and again, the member from Castries South tried to suggest that Parker has nothing to do with sports. Anybody who knows American football, the Las Vegas Raiders Stadium, Inglewood Stadium in Los Angeles Rams, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta Falcons, Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Dolphins, MetLife Stadium, New York Giants and the New York Jets, the Florida Citrus Bowl. In baseball, they do the Atlanta Braves, the Miami Marlins, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the San Diego Padres. In MLS soccer, they do the Atlanta United and the Minnesota United. In NCAA, they do indoor and outdoor track field for Penn State, one of the largest in the world. Indoor Sports Hall, Virginia Military Institute. And the list goes on of institutions that they participated in. And that's without saying that when you look at Mr. Lockerbie's biography and see where he started as a national athlete in the 400 meters and 800. Was the head of the athletic program at North Carolina at the same time that Michael Jordan was there. In fact, he was giving us a story of how he helped train Michael Jordan to do the long jump to try to win his Olympics, but at that same summer, the Olympics changed and allowed professional basketball players to participate, the dream team that went to Spain, and so he lost him as an athlete. But he designed the facility at North Carolina, in North Carolina. I went on to design many of the college facilities. So to suggest for one moment, on one hand, he says he accepts him for his talent, but he has all these other concerns. I'm sorry, that if somebody is a bluffer, they're not going to succeed in life. You would not get as far as Mr. Lockerbie did by not delivering. And so I want to put it to rest that there is nothing that the citizens of this country should be concerned about. All governed structures remain. The bureaucrats of the government are participating in overseeing and implementing this project. What Parker is doing is helping us with the design, the mediation, and coming up with an overall plan. And Parker's job is now to manage the vendors. We've said there is a significant benefit to be had if you can go out to the market and say you're going to be building 5 facilities. And that there is a plan now to build 30. So you're getting the best of the world coming in. In fact, in the bidding process that they did, they've already saved over $1.5 million from what they had projected the price to be. So, and that money, because it is grant money, is not that we're going to spend less. We're going to be able to spend the same amount of money, but get more. So, Mr. Speaker, I will end at this point to say that I wholeheartedly support this initiative. I want to again congratulate the minister and his team for a job well done. I know that many of us here are extremely anxious, and again, on my own selfish basis to say I'm so happy about my constituency of Miku South and Deriso that getting finally some lights and getting some facilities. The dialogue with those young people will continue so we can make the final detailed decisions in terms of what we want to be able to do. So I thank you very much, and I am looking forward to breaking ground and getting these projects implemented.
Honourable members, the question is that Parliament authorizes the Minister for Finance to borrow the sum of EC 42,400,000 from the Bank of St. Lucia Limited for the purposes of financing the 2018-2019 budget in the amount of A, EC 24,300,000 to finance the National Sports Infrastructure Strategy and Action Plan, and B, EC 8,100,000 to finance the 2018-2019 budget. Be it further resolved that A, the interest on each loan amount is payable at a rate of 4.5% per annum. B, a commitment fee of 1% is payable on the establishment of each loan amount. C, the loan amount of EC 24,300,000 is repayable at EC $1,518,750 per quarter for 4 years, inclusive of interest up to EC $308,576.71 per quarter on the reducing balance basis. And D, the loan amount of EC $8,100,000 is repayable at EC $506,250 per quarter for 4 years, inclusive of interest up to EC $102,858.90 per quarter on the reducing balance basis. I now put a question. As many as are of that opinion, say aye. Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion, say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move for the first reading of a bill shortly entitled the International Partnership Repeal Bill.
International Partnership Repeal.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the suspension of Standing Order 48-2 to allow the bill to go through its remaining stages at this time and at this sitting.
Honorable members, the question is that Standing Order 48-2 be suspended in order to allow the Honorable Prime Minister to proceed with the bill at this sitting. And now put the question is in as many as of the opinion say aye. In as many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Proceed, Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move for the second reading of a bill shortly entitled the International... Sorry, I've already done that. The bill for consideration is an International Partnership Repeal Bill, the bill. The purpose of the bill is to repeal the International Partnership Act Cap 12.21. The Clause 1 of the bill provides the short title, and Clause 2 of the bill provides for the repeal of the Act. As you remember, Mr. Speaker and members of the House, on November 20th, the House considered amendments to a suite of legislation that was necessary for the compliance with the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD, and the European Union Tax Good Governance Standards. The amendments were to the International Trust, the International Partnership, the International Business Companies, and the Free Zone. Automatic exchange of the financial account information and companies, and the Income Tax Act. The amendments to this International Trust and International Partnership Acts had the effect of making the legislation inoperable after June 30th, 21. In addition, legislation is required to repeal these acts after that point. So the government now submits that the International Trust Repeal Act and to follow the International Partnership Repeal Act, that the effect of these acts is to repeal them in their name as of June 30th, 2021. So not only must we suspend them, but we must also now repeal them. So the objective here is to now take these acts off of our books in order to be able to now complete the task at hand of amending our legislation in order to be able to conform to the requirements of the EU and the OECD with reference to harmful taxation.
Honorable members, the question is that the International Partnership Repeal Bill be read a second time. I now put a question. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
An act to repeal the International Partnership Act, Cap 12.21.
Honorable members, Clause 2.
Repeal.
Clause 2 stands part of the bill. Clause 1.
Short title.
Clause 1 stands part of the bill. Honorable members, the question is that committee rises and the bill be reported. I now put a question. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Honorable members, I beg to report that the International Partnership Repeal Bill went through committee stage with no amendments. Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the report of the committee be adopted and the bill be read for a third time and passed.
Honorable members, the question is that the report of the committee be adopted and the International Partnership Repeal Bill be read a third time and passed. I now put the question. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
Be it enacted by the Queen's Most Excellent Majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the House of Assembly and the Senate of St. Lucia, and by authority of the same as follows. This act may be cited as the International Partnership Repeal Act 2018.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move for the first reading of a bill shortly entitled the International Trust Repeal.
International Trust Repeal.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the suspension of Standing Order 48-2 to allow the bill to go through its remaining stages at this sitting.
Honorable members, the question is that Standing Order 48 to be suspended in order to the Honorable Prime Minister to proceed with the bill, the remaining stages of this bill at this sitting. I now put the question. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Proceed, Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move for the second reading of a bill shortly entitled the International Trust Repeal. Again, like the previous bill, Mr. Speaker, all we're simply doing is, now that we have amended our act to suspend it up until the 21st June of 2021, we're now asking for us to repeal the act in its entirety in order to be able to meet the requirements of the EU and the OECD as it pertains to harmful taxation.
Honorable members, the question is that the International Trust Repeal Bill be read a second time. I now put the question. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as the contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
An act to repeal the International Trust Act, Cap 12.19.
Honorable members, Clause 2.
Repeal.
Clause 2 stands part of the bill. Clause 1.
Short title.
Clause 1 stands part of the bill. Honorable members, the question is that the committee rises and the bill be reported. I now put the question. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Honorable members, I beg to report that the International Trust Repeal Bill went through committee stage with no amendments. Honorable Prime Minister and Minister for Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the report of the committee be adopted and the bill read a third time and passed.
Honorable members, the question is that the report of the committee be adopted and that the International Trust Repeal Bill be read a third time and passed. I now put the question. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
Be it enacted by the Queen's Most Excellent Majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the House of Assembly and the Senate of St. Lucia, and by the authority of the same, as follows. This act may be cited as the International Trust Repeal Act 2018.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move for the first reading of a bill shortly entitled the Gaming Control Amendment Bill.
Gaming Control Amendment.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move for the suspension of the Standing Order number 48-2 to allow the bill to go through its remaining stages at this sitting.
Honorable members, the question is that Standing Order 48-2 be suspended in order to allow the Honorable Prime Minister to proceed with the remaining stages of the bill at this sitting. I now put the question. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move for the second reading of a bill shortly entitled the Gaming Control Amendment Bill. The bill for consideration by Parliament is the Gaming Control Amendment Bill. The purpose of the bill is to amend the Gaming Control Act, Cap 13.13. The bill introduces new definitions for terms used in Section 2 of the Act. Therefore, the definitions for the board and the authority have been changed to reflect the new name provided to the authority. Further, a number of new terms are defined, such as financial year, security instrument, and betting. Other terms defined are betting provider license, broadcasting arrangement, broadcast, horse race, panel, racehorse operator, race course operator license, race meeting, racing information, and trial. The definition of the finder's fee is changed in the amendment to Section 15 of the Act to clarify that this fee may be paid for arranging or negotiating an extension of credit or an increase of credit facilities with respect to financing a gaming activity. In the bill, certain provisions are strengthened, particularly as it relates to the administration by the authority and the board in Sections 4 and 5 of the Act, particularly in relation to the new name of the authority and the effect it has on the corporate status of the authority and pending transactions of the authority. For legislative certainty, Section 8, subsection 5, and subsection 11, subsection 1, Section 12, subsection 2, Section 13 and subsection 1D, Section 16 and subsection 2, and Section 19 and Section 22, subsection 6, Section 24, Section 5, Section 25 and subsection 1, Section 30, Section 37, Section 38, subsection 1A, and the Section 41, subsection 1 of the Act are amended to conform with the modern legislative drafting norms and to enhance readability. the types of license that may be obtained, including that a person holding a gaming operator license cannot hold another type of license unless exempted by Cabinet, is addressed in the amendment in Section 14 of the Act. The requirement for a racehorse operator license and a betting provider license is inserted in the Act in Sections 14 and 20 of the Act. A new Part 4A that provides for appeals through racing appeal panels appointed by the Board of the Authority, and a new Schedule 2 to highlight the matters to be included in a policy on licensing scheme that a racecourse operator must develop. New provisions are added to the Act to provide for the appointment of inspectors, the engagement of consultants, contractors, and agents, and new Sections 11A and 11C. A provisional license for racecourse operators and betting providers is added by the new Section 16A. An investigation fee and a recovery of that fee is provided for by the amendment of Section 18 of the Act. As it relates to bonds and security instruments, Section 28 of the Act is amended to provide that a gaming operator remains liable to file and maintain a bond with the authority for the duration of a license. However, the new provision permits the deposit of a security instrument in lieu of a bond calculated on the gaming operator's projected operating expenses. The authority is empowered to increase the amount of the bond or security instrument, or to revoke a license for not executing a bond or depositing a security instrument. A betting provider and fee and regulatory fee are added to the Act by the new Sections 30A and 30B. Additional record keeping and financial reporting responsibilities given to the authority in the amendment of Section 33 of the Act. The Minister is permitted to give policy directions in the amendment to Section 51 of the Act, an inquiry into complaints made about horse racing, and issue directions to racecourse operators in the new Section 51A and 51B. The new Section 53 provides additional ways of serving a document under the Act. Regulations may also be made by the Minister under Section 55 of the Act for prescribing conditions for the suspension or revocation of a gaming operator license and the activities to be conducted within the boundaries of a racecourse. The bill enhances the provisions with respect to the computation and payment of the cost of conducting an investigation under Section 18 of the Act. An applicant is liable for the full cost of the investigation, non-payment of which may result in the board refusing to consider an application. The bill amends Section 19, Section 22, and subsection 6, Section 24, subsection 5, and Section 25 to conform to the drafting norms and to correct referencing issues. The bill expands the record-keeping and financial reporting responsibilities on the authority under Section 33 of the Act. Also, the custodial penalty for non-compliance with an auditor's request under Section 34, subsection 3, is increased from 3 years to 10 years under this section. The bill amends 51 of the Act to remove unrelated provisions with respect to financial reporting, which are now placed with similar provisions under the Act. So, Mr. Speaker, as you can hear by some of the new terms, that we're preparing ourselves now to enter into a new era of business for St. Lucia. In essence, we're expanding the Gaming Act now to include wagering and horse racing. So as we know that we're preparing ourselves to have our first international horse race in St. Lucia, which will also be accompanied by international wagering. So as we've said, the horse races that would be displayed here will now be published internationally and be in the betting houses. And so therefore we must prepare ourselves and have specific legislation which would allow us to be able to give licenses both for wagering as well as horse racing, as well as taking this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, in cleaning up many of the discrepancies in the current Gaming Act. We've also now made and empowered the authority, or changed it from just the gaming control in order to creating the gaming authority. So again, I'm looking forward to the support of my colleagues in making these very meaningful changes to the Gaming Control Act that we have.
Honorable members, the question is that the Gaming Control Amendment Bill be read a second time. I now put a question. As many as are of that opinion, say aye. As many as of contrary opinions, I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
An act to amend the Gaming Control Act, Cap 13.13.
Honorable members, we shall go through the bill by way of the clauses. Clause 2.
Interpretation.
Clause 2 stands part of the bill. Clause 3.
Amendment of Section 1.
Clause 3 stands part of the bill.
Interpretation.
On the first, on page 5. If I can, I don't know if we normally do the title. Is that when you would do that, or we're gonna page 5?
If you want to correct because
Or should I wait until
something...
you get to that section?
No.
To 34?
If there's an error on page 5, then let's do it because...
Okay. On page 5, we want to, on point 34, is to delete the S in sections and to strike out 249H. So it would just read insertion of new section 49A. You want to repeat that?
Page 5,
34.
34.
We're removing and we're making, where it says sections, we're taking off the S, making it singular, and deleting 249H. So it just reads insertion of new section 49.4.
Very well. Clause 4.
Amendment of Section 2.
Clause 4 stands part of the bill. Clause 5.
Amendment of Section 4.
Clause 5 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 6.
Amendment of Section 5.
Okay, so on this one, reference to the subsection should be subsection 5. Subsection 6 and 7 should really be merged into 5. I'm on page 13.
That's you're referring to section.
Okay, so they had it here. Okay, on page 14.
So we're now looking
Yes,
at
okay, go
section
ahead.
7.
Yep.
So section 7, and you're looking at which clause?
On page 13.
Yes.
Subsection 6 and 7. Oh, I got it. In subsection 6 and 7, right? The reference should be to section 5. Section 5 of the Principal Act is amended by deleting and heading the substituting the following heading. page 14.
Yes, page 14, subsection 6 and 7.
Yes.
It says,
So subsection,
currently it says subsection 2 ceases to have
right, so
effect.
number 2 needs to change to 5.
To 5.
And also the same thing in number 7, the subsection 2 needs to change to subsection 5.
Very well. Madam Clerk, you have it.
You got that?
Very well.
And then on page 15,
PM, may I suggest, because we seem to be skipping sections,
no problem.
because now we have to deal with clause 7.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, go ahead.
clause 7 stands, clause 7.
Stands part of the bill.
Amendment to section 8.
Clause 7 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 8.
Amendment of section 11.
Clause 8 stands part of the bill. Clause 9.
Insertion of new sections 11A to 11C.
That's when PM you step in with reference to clauses 6 and 7.
No.
Yes, because it falls on
Okay.
the section 9.
Okay.
Okay. Clause 10.
Amendment of section 12.
No, you also be, no, before you go to section 10.
Yeah, we have 11B.
Very well, go ahead.
So in section 11C, the word authority should be in initial cap, so with a capital A. So it says where it oversees regulatory authority, the authority there needs to be a capital A.
Very well. So wherever the word authority appears in this subsection?
Right, it says the board may, in the exercise of its functions, enter into a memorandum of understanding with an overseas regulatory authority. So the authority has to be with a capital A.
Yes, understood.
For the purpose of assisting the supervision with the authority.
Madam Clerk, you have it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so clause 9 stands part of the bill. Clause 10.
Amendment of
One sec,
section
one sec.
12.
So both of them authorities? Just the one? Okay, so sorry, Mr. Speaker. In clause 11C1, it's not the first authority, it's the second authority that needs to be the capital A.
With an overseas, oh, I see. Yes, yes.
Because
So
it's our authority,
Just the first, just the second.
right? The last word, in fact. Yeah,
So let's do this.
when we read it.
Clause 9 again. Clause 9 as amended stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 10.
Amendment of section 12.
Clause 10 stands part of the bill. Clause 11.
Amendment of section 13.
Okay, we're gonna delete the reference to paragraph A and B. And section 13 should read, Section 13 of the Principal Act is amended in subsection 1, comma, by inserting immediately after the paragraph D, the following new paragraphs E and F.
Okay. Move A and B. A and B.
A and B. And E,
Yes.
yeah, delete the reference in paragraph A and B in section G. And so it really should be section 13 of the Principal Act Law. And the new paragraphs E and F should be just hold a race meeting, and F, offer betting on a horse race and other events approved by the board.
Section 11 as amended stands part of the bill.
Aye. Did we get that? Did we get that right?
Section 12.
Amendment of Section 14.
Okay, the subparagraph 3,
Yes.
the word semicolon should be one word, and thereafter a comma should replace the semicolon symbol. You got it? The word semicolon, remove the hyphen, and then the semicolon at the end of that should be just a comma.
So delete the semicolon and then put the comma. Very well. Clause 12 as amended stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 14.
Amendment of Section 15.
Clause 14 stands part of the bill. Clause 14.
Amendment of Section 16.
Clause 14 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 15.
Insertion of new Section 16A.
Clause 15 stands part of the bill.
Aye. We're doing 16A?
Yes, clause 15.
Okay, you did clause 15, go ahead.
Clause 15 until 16.
Yes. Well, 16A. In 16A, where the reference should be made to the race course operator. On receipt of the application for the race course operator, instead of race course, shall be with the approval of the Minister of provisions with respect to the race course. So, in respect of a race course operator or betting provider. That's the last one, yeah. That's what he said. We're saying that the minister immediately issue a provisional license in respect of a race course operator.
So after the word race course, you need the word operator.
Correct.
Or betting provider.
Or betting provider. Yes.
Very well. Clause 14 as amended stands part of the bill.
Aye.
No, sorry. Is that my saying right? Sorry. It should have been 15. My clause 15 as amended stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 16.
Amendment of Section 18.
Clause 16 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 17.
Amendment of Section 19.
Clause 17 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 18.
Amendment of Section 20.
Clause 18 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 19.
Amendment of Section 22.
Clause 19 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 20.
Amendment of Section 24.
Clause 20 stands part of the bill. Clause 21.
Amendment of Section 25.
Clause 21 stands part of the bill. Clause 22.
Substitution of Section 28.
Clause 22 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 23.
Insertion of new Part 4A.
So on the next page, on subsection 5, delete the comma after the word policy, and also delete the words age, nationality.
So we're now referring to 29A2, 29A5.
5. Where it says we have policy, admission policy, you take out the comma.
So delete the comma, delete the word age and nationality.
and delete the words age and nationality.
And so it continues the admission policy and other restrictions imposed under this act.
Correct. We put the comma after policy. Yeah.
So,
No, containing information on the admission policy, comma.
so you
You're
want,
deleting age, nationality, and then it just goes, so it just goes comma, and then it says and. Oh, take out that.
yes, delete
Okay.
comma, age and nationality.
Oh, so delete the comma between age and nationality.
That's what you're saying.
Okay.
Very well.
But it says here, and also delete the words age and nationality. Okay, so you're taking out the three. Gotcha. So you're leaving the comma after policy.
No.
Delete it based on what I heard from you.
Delete the comma after the word policy and also delete the words age, comma, nationality.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a long.
So, sorry.
Let
We're,
me
take,
repeat.
we're reading it.
Yeah.
Where it says the admission policy, there's no comma, there's no age, there's no comma, and there's no nationality. So it says the admission policy and other restrictions imposed under the Act.
Any other amendments, Mr. Prime Minister, you would like under this section, since it's a very long one?
29D.
29D. That's page 24.
Yep.
Any,
On line 4, delete the words are fit and proper persons.
that's in subsection 1.
One.
Yes.
Okay.
And you replace
So
with
did the words are fit and proper person?
Right. Licensed by him or her in a person who, in the opinion of the racecourse operator, are fit and proper persons.
Delete this.
Delete those words. Are fit and proper persons, and replace them with the words is a fit and proper person. A fit and proper person.
Honorable members, you called it? You got it?
We have to take off the S, so it's no longer persons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing.
Oh, yeah. Very well.
Sure. Page 18, go ahead. So you're replacing race course? Oh, sorry. Page 18. On page 18, members? Page 18.
Honorable Prime Minister is going back to page 18.
Page 18. In subsection 3, we're deleting the word race course and replacing it with race, or just putting race course together.
In other words, delete the space between race and course.
Correct.
Clause 23 as amended stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 24.
Amendment of section 30.
Clause 24 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 25.
Insertion of new sections 30A and 30B.
Out of here. Subsection.
Clause 25 stands part of the bill. Clause 26.
Substitution of section 33.
Clause 26 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 27.
Amendment of section 34.
Clause 27 stands part of the bill. Clause 28.
Amendment of section 37.
Clause 28 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 29.
Amendment of section 38.
Clause 29 stands part of the bill.
Okay, I think that we have on section 29, on subsection 9, I think it is. On page 30.
The Honorable Prime Minister is suggesting that we turn back to page 30. Is it 29, Honorable Prime Minister? Is it supposed to be page 29?
Page 29.
Or
It's not
page
subsection
30.
9. So it's on page 29, subsection 9. Remove the comma after the word may. So a panel, where the comma is there, you remove it. So it reads, a panel may impose conditions in the notice under section 7. Page 29, section 9. It says a panel may, right, you remove the comma.
That was clause 20.
29.
That was clause 23. So clause 23 as amended. Clause 30 stands. Clause 30.
Amendment of section 39.
Clause 30 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 41.
Amendment of section 41.
Clause 41 stands part of the bill. Clause 42.
Insertion of new sections 44A to 44E.
Clause 42 stands part of the bill. Clause 43.
Substitution of section 47.
Clause 43 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 44.
Insertion of new section 49.
49.
Insertion of new section 49A to 49H. Insertion of 49 section new section 49A.
Clause 44 stands. Clause 44 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 45.
Substitution of section 51.
Clause 45 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 46.
Insertion of new sections 51A and 51B.
Clause 46 stands part of the bill. Clause 47.
Substitution of section 53.
Clause 47 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 48.
Amendment of Section 55.
Clause 48 stands part of the bill. Clause 49.
Amendment of Schedule.
Clause 49 stands part of the bill. Clause 40.
Insertion of new Schedule 2.
Clause 40 stands part of the bill.
Aye.
Clause 1.
Short title.
Clause 1 stands part of the bill. Honorable members, the question is that the committee rises and the bill be reported. I now put a question. As many as are of that opinion say aye.
Aye.
As many as are of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Honorable members, the question is that the report Honorable members, I beg to report that the Gaming Control Amendment Bill went through committee stage with amendments. Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I beg we move the report. Mr. Speaker, I move that the report of the committee be adopted and the bill read a third time and passed.
Honorable members, the question.
Sorry. My apologies, Mr. Speaker. Let me just do that slowly.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the report of the committee be adopted as amended and that the bill be read a third time and passed.
Honorable members, the question is that the report of the committee be adopted and that the Gaming Control Amendment Bill be read a third time and passed. I now put a question. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
Be it enacted by the Queen's Most Excellent Majesty, by and with the advice and consent of the House of Assembly and the Senate of St. Lucia, and by the authority of the same as follows. This Act may be cited as the Gaming Control Amendment Act 2018.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move for the first reading of a bill shortly entitled the Caribbean Electric Utility Services Corporation Headquarters Agreement.
Caribbean Electric Utility Services Corporation Headquarters Agreement.
Honorable members, we've come to the end of the business of the House, which started on Tuesday, December 11th, 2018. Honorable Prime Minister, I guess we all want to move on, so we jump in. But Honorable Prime Minister, you would need to indicate the next reading of the where is it? To indicate the second reading, when the second reading of the Caribbean Electric Utility Services Corporation Headquarters Agreement Bill.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that this bill be presented for a second reading at the next or subsequent sitting of this honorable House.
Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister. Yes, members, I was saying that that this has been a very long one for us all. Is it what two? But I would like to take the opportunity, honorable members, unless Prime Minister, leader of government business is indicating otherwise, I think I would want to put my hat on and say that I'm making the assumption that this is the very last sitting for the year, unless some emergency and Prime Minister is giving some indication otherwise. Let me take this opportunity, therefore, to to express on behalf of myself and parliamentary staff, greetings to all of you. Yes, including all members of the House. The staff of NTN that broadcasts our sessions to St. Lucia and the wider world, and for staying up with us to the late hours to ensure that our proceedings are broadcast to the people that we all represent here. So I would like to express to them also our thanks and gratitude for that. Also to the police that stand as security us all and to ensure that law and order is upheld, not just around the precinct of Parliament, but throughout the nation. So let's just express our gratitude to them for that. We are here and we have changed the workings in Parliament, so we have very few staff members now. But you will know that although we are here doing our thing, that downstairs we have a group of people, dedicated people that honestly offices of the Parliament. Let's also express our thanks and appreciation to them. The work of Parliament, whether it is through interviews, but the media takes our business to the people, runway besides NTN. Again, we'd like to thank them and express our gratitude to them. We have the Office of the Parliamentary Commissioner attached also to the Parliamentary Office. Also like to express our thanks to them. I've had cause over the last few months to interact with the various embassies and the diplomatic corps. That the one we have other assist us in our workings, also I'd like to express. Also to the office of the Mayor of Castries, because I always turn to them to ensure that the precincts of the Parliament is clean and proper. So I'll again like to express our thanks to them. Honorable members, as we end, has been a tiring, honestly, it's been a tiring testing one for me personally over the last 9 months. I've enjoyed every moment of it though. Now, tomorrow is our National Day. There is. I think there's also have a Mayor's Mass also at 8. So everybody that can attend, I'll try to do both, honorable member. So I invite all of you on behalf of honorable member and the Mayor of Castries to attend. If you can do both, the Mayor's Mass as well as the Mass in Mekun. Again, have a very good Christmas, honorable members, and a bright and prosperous new year. I look forward to the working that we shall work, even in greater camaraderie and spirit. And as I've said when I took on this task, the civility and the way we do the business of the people. Honestly, from the first one to now, I've seen a great change. I think there's a song which says, "There is a great change since I am a rose." I'm not going to sing it, but thank you very much, honorable members, the Attorney General and his staff for ensuring that the bills that come to the Parliament is so proper. Honorable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, before I ask for the adjournment of the House, I certainly want to join in your voice with regards to thanking all of the staff members for the support that they're giving us here at Parliament. It's the little things that matter the most. I know that we really enjoy the food and your company, and certainly we appreciate every moment of the dedication of the staff here. We've, as you said, have had a marathon a session. But you know, Mr. Speaker, I also want to say that we want to thank you. We know that it has been a difficult time, particularly having no deputy speaker. And you certainly have not conducted yourself in a way in which we would think that we are grieving you in any way by depriving you of a deputy speaker. But I also want to take this opportunity really to thank the public of St. Lucia, because I know that we are all extremely humbled, and I mean that in the greatest amount of sincerity, by the opportunity they have afforded us, the responsibility that they've put on to us to be able to conduct the affairs of St. Lucia. And it's something I know that we take extremely seriously. And despite sometimes how it looks like in the House, I can assure all St. Lucians that behind the cameras, everybody gets on very civilly. And clearly, it is the purpose of both parties to be able to get their points across, but we try to do it in the least acrimonious way. And it's all done with the greatest amount of respect, despite how you see us conduct ourselves in this House. And I think that that's also a tribute to you and the guidance and the direction you've provided in this House in terms of that very right subtlety in terms of conducting the affairs of the House. But I also want to say to the public solution that I'm leaving here. I'm supposed to be two places at the same time. I'm actually supposed to be turning on the lights, which I may have to forego and ask one of my colleagues to go in my stead, because I'm also supposed to be going on Newsmaker Live. And I'm doing that simply because I know that the country is obviously very concerned with regards to the spate of crime. And I feel that I need to make myself available to the public and to explain what my government is doing to try to abate the level of crime. And clearly, I don't want anyone to believe, and certainly we don't run away from that responsibility, that we don't notice that there's been a spike in crime. And clearly, we're going to do everything we can to support the fine policemen and women of this country. And it has to be something that we're going to achieve together. The policemen cannot do this job by themselves. Politicians cannot do this job by themselves. The public cannot do this job by themselves. The justice system cannot do this job by themselves. The investigators can't. But collectively, we can make a very big difference in our country. And it's certainly the intention of my government to continue to work with everyone in terms until we can abate the scourge in our society and get where young people can respect each other and respect life. There cannot be any argument, any example where two people have to resort to killing each other to solve a problem. We can all understand and appreciate not agreeing and sometimes becoming emotional, but to allow that emotion to go over the tilt to result in killing somebody is something that we really have to investigate into ourselves in terms of what are we doing wrong in bringing people up in terms of values. And I know that there's some members on this side who feel very passionate and very strongly about family, love, and faith. And I think that we're all appreciate the Lord, and the Lord would not willingly allow people to kill themselves. And there is a message that's being sent to all of us, and a message that we must accept, that there has to be a change in how we conduct ourselves. We must take time out to appreciate each and every person and the contribution they could make to our society. And everybody who's lost, whether in a car accident or in a homicide or by a disease, is cutting that person's opportunity of making a contribution to this beautiful island that God has blessed us with. So to all St. Lucians, I want to wish you on behalf of my entire team of colleagues the greatest and safest National Day, a prosperous Christmas and New Year, and certainly to all the constituents from all the constituencies. I want to again thank you for your support, your understanding, and that we are humbled by the opportunity you've given us. I thank you. And at this point, Mr. Speaker, I beg that we adjourn the House sine die.
Honorable members, the question is that this House do stand adjourned sine die. I now put a question. As many as are of that opinion, say aye. Aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion, say no. No. Are you calling for division? I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. House is adjourned.